Welcome to Analytics Tools and ML Question Examples based on AWS Data Engineer topics by abylead. We offer cloud service introductions, exam question explanations, and practicing of real exams. Question 1. You want to query logs with minimal setup directly in S3. You can use EMR for big data, OpenSearch clusters for indexing, and EC2 instances for custom apps, but they aren't simple ways to query logs. Instead, you can use Athena direct queries in S3 whenever you want, without having to manage infrastructure and with simple maintenance. Question 2. How do you accomplish an on-demand log query in S3 data lake without significant changes? OpenSearch, Redshift Spectrum, and EMR all can perform log analysis, but they require integrations or significant installations. In contrast, Glue catalogs S3 data for Athena to query on-demand large datasets directly and efficiently in S3. Question 3. Operational overhead isn't allowed to analyze historical CSV files in S3. Redshift with Spectrum integration, customized Lambda, and data pipeline to move data mean unnecessary operational interventions. But with Glue Catalog, you define schemas for Athena SQL queries in S3 to select fields, perform aggregations, and group results for a daily sales report. Question 4. You need to improve Athena's S3 query performance and scalability. But connection via ODBC or JDBC drivers is time-consuming. And compression depends on the right access frequency but can't be done with Athena. Instead, use Glue catalogs for Athena SQL queries in S3 and Compress for performance with Snappy or LZO on frequent daily access. Question 5. Cost-effective sensor ingestion with Kinesis Data Firehose can be realized with formatting or partitioning. Don't use Apache ORC without compression, and Apache Avro doesn't work with Snappy. And don't neglect your use case with partitioning. Better is to use Snappy compression with Parquet or AVRO format, and to partition by date and source identifier if required by your use case. Question 6. How do you make a Glue job faster for handling large CSV dataset? First, increased DPU improves scaling, but it doesn't improve job performance. Also, bookmarking and a larger timeout both doesn't increase job speed. In contrast, with columnar Parquet format, you reduce a Glue job's processing time a lot. Question 7. Kinesis Data Firehose processing with Athena query is costly. With S3 intelligent tiering, you reduce its storage costs, and increased Kinesis Data Firehose buffer size reduces operations to S3 but not the query costs. And Redshift pre-aggregation introduces additional cost. Most advisable is to convert into columnar Parquet or ORC format for smaller query costs. Question 8. How do you optimize a growing S3 data lake storage and its Athena query performance? If you randomize S3 prefix, it doesn't improve S3's unlimited scalability. And locating resources in same account or changing from JSON to CSV format doesn't impact performance. To optimize query and storage, you locate Athena and S3 in the same region, you compress S3 objects, and you transform files into columnar formats. Question 9. You want an effective analysis solution of large JSON dataset history in S3. Impractical on-demand analysis of S3 historics can't be performed by Amazon-managed Flink and Redshift. And Lambda's custom transformations or analytical queries is inefficient. The solution is to use Athena with Apache Spark and Jupyter Notebook for direct S3 query. Question 10. Large partitioned CSV dataset history in S3 can be effectively analyzed for forecasting. But data pipeline with RDS isn't viable for such demanding processing, and EMR with Apache Spark for big data is too complex. Also, Redshift Spectrum SQL lacks integrated ML for predictive modeling. You better use Glue Catalog with Athena's S3 direct query and Spark integration in Athena notebooks as a scalable solution. Hold on a minute. If you like this channel and its free content to continue, please subscribe it on the right bottom button. Question 11. How do you effectively use Athena notebooks with Spark to analyze large CSV history in S3? You can't use lake formation for analysis, EMR for big data is once more too complex, and Databrew for preprocessing isn't needed. Athena notebooks with Spark is useful for advanced data transformations and analytics, so doesn't need any additional services to support. Question 12. You need to cost-effectively join multiple database sources to perform analysis. First, EMR is for big data and too complex for one-time query, and Redshift doesn't federate query DynamoDB. Also, copying all data is more costly. Instead, use Athena federated query to query only needed data and join via serverless Lambda to join and store in S3. Question 13. You need to realize user-controlled Athena one-time S3 queries. First, for central Athena query governance, you don't apply additional S3 bucket permissions. Also, data brew preprocessing isn't required and glue cataloging doesn't grant permission rights. You best use Athena workgroups to separate users with data limits for each query or workgroup. Question 14. An effective dashboard display with 5-second refreshed is required. You can't use Kibana dashboard without OpenSearch. And since Kinesis Firehose updates not less than every 60 seconds, it's not a viable solution. Most advisable is to create streaming IoT metrics to OpenSearch with Grafana plugin for metrics and logs. Question 15. How do you share interactive dashboards for daily RDS PostgreSQL to for sales trends? Glue Databrew data preprocessing or Redshift data warehousing isn't any help. And customized Lambda data transfer introduces unnecessary complexity. Instead, use QuickSight with Spice cached queries for real-time interactive dashboards with various relational data sources. Question 16. You want to cost-effective realize intradaily Redshift metrics to a QuickSight dashboard. Higher costs come from suggested Redshift real-time processing and Redshift to S3 transfer with QuickSight queries. Not better is Glue Databrew transformation, which isn't asked for in this dashboard updating case. The solution is to use QuickSight Spice caching for dashboard with hourly refrehes to avoid overhead. Question 17. How do you resolve QuickSight's insufficient permissions error from querying Athena table with multiple S3 datasets? QuickSight and Athena simply and securely connects via the console and not with additional S3 policy, decryption keys IAM user policy. You best add permission to each new S3 bucket from QuickSight console and you connecting to Athena as well. Question 18. Ensuring effective data quality for an inconsistent log dataset to a ML model is required. With Athena SQL querying and manipulation, you can't prepare the data for ML processing. Also, data manipulation with custom Lambda coding or Glue ETL are both not designed for ML workflows. Instead, you best use SageMaker Data Wrangler to clean and prepare ML workflows with a simple interface. Question 19. How do you most effective resolve a data wrangler issue with transformation of inconsistent data to analytics? Don't use data wrangler statistical analysis for transformation, and its find and replace correction doesn't exist. Also, a custom Python script for data wrangler is feasible but inefficient. In contrast, with data wrangler built-in date functions, you simply can standardize date format and efficiently clean categorical fields. Question 20. You want effectively establish data lineage for ML model compliance. You can't use Glue Databrew data preparation with S3 object lock and lake formation governance with SageMaker experiments tracking model versions for ML lineage tracking. The same applies to SageMaker Feature Store, which manages ML model features. Most advisable are SageMaker's Data Wrangler with its simple data preparation and lineage tracking to show data at building stages. Question 21. How do you effectively complement SageMaker ML models with an AWS service for data lineage? With step functions, you orchestrate workflows as well as with data pipeline together with S3 access logs. The ML model lineage tracking isn't feasible. AWS config evaluates resource configurations, which also doesn't help. The best solution is to use SageMaker lineage tracking for end-to-end lineage info to track each element. Question 22. To use SageMaker features for artifact lifecycle insights and relationships is demanded. The following 3 SageMaker features don't visualize the artifacts relationships. SageMaker Studio's lineage table only lists artifacts, SageMaker Experiments tracks model versions, and SageMaker Model Registry manages mode versions. But with SageMaker Lineage Graph you can easily explore relationships of artifacts. Question 23. How do you ensure data quality with preprocessing for ML model? SageMaker Feature Store and SageMaker Processing is for models, but both don't correct or assure data quality. With SageMaker Data Wrangler you prepares model data without quality monitoring. You best use SageMaker lineage tracking of workflow steps for governance and accurate decisions. With the understanding of analytics tools and ML for data engineers, you are ready now for more details. We wish you further insights with abylead videos.